we have the greatest show of all time. We have a man that in his own modest way can tell you,
I don't like it. I'm just telling you the truth.
You like it?
No! Listen to my fucking ranting. Listen to what you do to me. I don't believe you anymore.
Unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in.
Hosted by
this guy that ran with every woman that would have him from the time he was 15. You like it?
Yeah.
You want one?
And 90,000 people watching.
Woo!
In my moment of glory. Yeah, no, I'm living a nightmare.
I don't trust you. The fuck up! You make me wanna smoke! You fucked my damn...
Justin Draven.
Wow, Mr. Sarcasm.
And so I'd like to jump into a topic that I touched on in a previous episode. What really happened to the OPIE and ANTHONY show? I mean, I know, we all know that Anthony was fired and Jim and OPIE decided to move on and continue forward. And they caught a lot of hate for it from the diehards, which is understandable, which I'm also a diehard, but here's where I differ from the rest of the diehard. I wasn't actually considered an official pest because I'm not tech savvy. So I did participate in a Jocktober or 2 or 3, but I wasn't an official pest because I didn't take it like super serious. But it was definitely my favorite radio show. Definitely woke up early to listen to it. Definitely tried to call in a few times. I got into the phone screener once, and I know it was Travis because I remember the voice. It was a topic. I know the topic was Spike Lee, and I was calling in. I didn't get through. Whatever. But they were still awesome. And then, actually, I've been aware of them since their AAF days because that was my local rock station before it became a Christian rock station or a Christian station. But I remember hearing of them, and I think I heard them on the radio once or twice, just flipping through the channels, but I was still a little younger, so I didn't actually get it. But I definitely became aware of them on satellite. And they were amazing. Here's what people don't take into consideration. I know OPIE gets a lot of hate. OPIE started all of it. Okay? He brought in Anthony. So if you love Anthony, you have OPIE to thank. He brought in Jim. So if you like Jim, you have OPIE to thank. He brought in Sam Roberts. Whether you like Sam or not, OPIE brought him in. They gave every titan today of comedy the time to hone their skill and their craft on the radio. OPIE did that. So when they broke up and the fans chose sides, OPIE caught a lot of hate. And he took a lot of heat. And I'm likening that to the Montreal Screwjob, where Vince put all the heat on Sean, and Sean took all that heat. I think OPIE took all that heat, and he did it. I don't know why he took the heat, but he just did it, because maybe he's not one of them people that like to attack people, but he took it. And the fans chose sides. A majority of them chose with Anthony and Jimmy, and continuously attack OPIE. Now, I don't think them continuously making fun of OPIE is necessarily always out of spite, and I can tell you why. This is going to be another long story, but I used to work with a guy at a place where it was just him and I working for a man, and it was just me and this guy for years. Okay? He's the guy that told my ex that I was cheating on her, and they were together for about 5 or 6 years. And I only tell you that story because it might relate to their story, and I'll get into that. Now, I never thought I would talk to this dude again. I was like, fuck him. He's a piece of shit. He's human garbage. Rah, rah, rah. All the common shit you would say. I felt all the typical shit you would feel. And now, there came a point where I met my wife. We're gonna have a baby, and I needed a better paying job. So I decided to get back into the trade that I'd known since I was a teenager. I go work for a place this guy happens to work at. We ended up shaking hands, reconnecting, whatever. They're not together anymore. Now, it's not the same dynamic anymore, but we were able to come to terms. Now, Opie and Anthony will probably never get together again, and we don't know why. The fans always feel as if they're owed something, and I don't feel as if I'm owed anything. I'm very curious. Now, could it have been as bad as stealing a chick? Or like I said in my other video, maybe Anthony made a pass at one of his nieces. But what was so unforgivable to where they could never reconnect again? Is it just that they hate each other? Because clearly it's possible to get over your shit with people. So I was always curious at that. I'd like to ask him about that. Like, what really happened? And not for no clickbait shit where I would put it on the internet. Oh, he told me, and this is why. I would never do that. It would just be for my own personal knowledge. Because they're legit pioneers and legit icons and legends. And I'm an unbiased fan of all of them. Not so much Anthony anymore, because one, he's behind a paywall, and I don't really find him super entertaining without Opie. Jimmy is not the same as he was on the Opie and Anthony show or the Opie and Jimmy show, but he doesn't even do any of his characters anymore except Chip. And let's be honest, Chip is great, but I can't do a whole fucking hour and a half podcast of him. Sometimes I'll listen for 20 minutes or so, but I can't do that much Chip. And it's a shame because the character was great. And he still has his moments, but it's just kind of watered down now. And you can see Jim's kind of really banking on Chip. And he's really phoning it in on air with Sam. Both of them, really. They're just very safe now. They don't take chances or risks like they used to. I mean, obviously they've tried to veer away from the shock jock type stuff, but they're not even really funny. It's not even funny. I find their side characters like Travis and Troy more funny than I find them most of the time. And that's sad, because Jim is hilarious. Same with the Anthony thing. I can't listen to a whole episode of Anthony just talk about racism and guns and oh my God, his network is fucking hideous. All the people on that network, I don't even know who they are. And their shows don't even look fun or interesting. Opie's the only one that's been consistent. He hasn't bashed anyone. He hasn't made videos on anyone. He hasn't based almost his whole career on taking shots at him. Post-career. I just don't understand. I don't understand what could have been done that was so bad that you refuse to at least connect with these people. Because I get it, money isn't everything, but there is, I'm assuming, a lot of fucking money on the table. But then again, probably not, because could they get away with the shit that they did back then now? And would it be the same? I don't think it would be the same anyway. I don't want them to get back together. I would like them to rekindle a friendship and then maybe do stuff in the future, like a reunion or another Unmasked or something. But get back together? I don't know. I don't think it would really live up to the expectation. And they would all want to do something different from what the show was anyway. And I don't think that would be any good. But now with the reunion, I ask because I was able to get over some shit. So was Opie just a little too sensitive? And I don't say that with any malice. I just wonder, did he take the friendship more serious than everyone else? And that's why he just took everything extra hard? Or is there really just that much bad blood? Because when me and that guy reconnected, we went right back into doing what we did when we worked for that guy before. We went back to making fun of that guy. So, even when we haven't been working for this guy for 10 plus years, we still would make fun of him because he taught us our trade. And he was quotable for years, let me tell you. But I think that might be the case with Jim and Anthony. I think they take their shots, but it's out of a sort of love that they still have for him. Because I know that's what I did with my old boss. And it's just because I would have liked to have seen him again. I thought he was a cool guy. So maybe that's what that is. And then he's just taking all the shots that they're taking seriously even more. And so he's being a little bit more stubborn in rekindling or reconnecting. And I know, I'm not one of these obsessives who I'm not going to do 30-minute deep dives anymore on it. And I'm not going to do any documentaries, which are great. I love all those videos. Keep it up, guys. Because I'm entertained by those. The rest of the O&A fans are entertained by those. I just want to know the real shit. What was done that was so bad that he refuses to reconnect with them? Are they really making fun of him because it's like a thing of respect where they're just busting his balls? Why do all the fans side with Jim and Anthony? Why do all these fans bash Opie all the time? Why does a lot of the other comedians not like Opie anymore? I get that he was paying comedians to come on, but he was trying to build some shit. And maybe he thought the comedians that Jim Norton all brought to the show would go around and talk shit about him. Maybe he just didn't trust them anymore. Maybe he didn't. There's a lot of things that go into that. You know what I mean? He was trying to build something new. So to catch all that hate, oh, he was never funny. He's not a fucking comic. He never wanted to be a comic. He just wanted to be a radio guy. Yeah, you get the joke. He's a board op or whatever. That show ran pretty smooth, didn't it? That was under Opie's guidance. So, where is he bad in that situation? Seriously, I'm curious. Everyone makes fun of all his quote-unquote pop-up shows that he was doing. He was trying to do something new. Why not? Why do people bust his balls? Is it because he avoids talking about O&A? Maybe it really is just a sore spot like that and he doesn't want to talk about it. Now, like I said, I actually pay attention to him more consistently than Jim and Sam and Anthony, and he's good. I like what he talks about. He's not talking about a lot of the bullshit that goes in the news. He just hops on there and he just bullshits, kind of like what I'm doing. So I am actually inspired by him because that's what I'm trying to do here. I just hop on and talk about what I want to talk about. And he pioneered that. Everyone would say, oh, Howard Stern did. No, because I've seen all the comedians and interviews everywhere else, and they would say Opie and Anthony were more like a hang. You can go in there, you didn't have to do your shtick. You could be funny, but you could be funny with topics that they're throwing around. And who threw out those topics? Opie. So, you people are kind of misguided. I don't understand why the fans are choosing sides just because Jim and Anthony? Well, that's two guys. That's it. Now, if you keep in mind, Anthony's also gone through 2 co-hosts in the past 4 years, so I wouldn't say that Opie's the only one who's hard to work with. Think about that. Opie doesn't bash them. I mean, he'll respond, but he just wants to move on, and nobody wants to let him. And I don't understand why he gets all the hate, because Anthony's terrible right now. Jim and Sam are terrible right now. Like, the way I see it, the whole thing, it went down exactly like the Beatles. The 2 leads hated each other. It went out on top unexpectedly, and the other ones went off to become Ringo and friends. And people are shitting on the John Lennon. I don't get it. You hate on Opie, but you neglect to realize he discovered Anthony. They built up the Opie and Anthony brand. He brought in Jim Norton, who brought in all the comics, which Opie allowed to take the time and just hang out and chill, and didn't force them to do their act, and just let them show how funny they were and promote. Alright, he wasn't the funniest one in the room. That wasn't his job. You know what he did do very well, though? He took the tension and he fucking ran with it. He created the tension. He created all the awkward moments, like the cake stomp and the poker chips and the Sandy Kane guitar. That's all Opie. And then the other guys would comment on it and make it funny. I feel bad that he feels like he was losing his spot in the show, because I don't think he was. Just because they weren't personally friends outside the show doesn't mean that you can't run the show professionally. But I also see where he's coming from, where if he doesn't feel like there's a connection and they're not really having the chemistry that they used to, what's the point? Because money isn't everything. Believe me, I can contest to that. And I'm a nobody, so I can definitely relate to the fact that he doesn't subscribe to the theory that, oh, well, the money's worth it. So that's another point for Opie. Now, everyone also makes fun of the fact that he may or may not be obsessed with Howard Stern. I don't know. I'm not him. I don't know him personally. In my opinion, I think they were better than Stern. Not necessarily bigger, but I would say that they were definitely better. And he's responsible for that. He's responsible for picking out all the characters that you loved. The Sandy Kanes, the Bobos, the intern Davids, the retarded Laverne and Shirley. Like, to not see the genius in that and your own self-worth, if you're the person doing that, is just ridiculous. What the hell was going on behind the scenes to where you would beat down like that? Or did you guys just create that much of a toxic, like, culture, subculture, fandom? Like, because the Pests were brutal. They were fucking nuts. But you guys did that. So you can't blame them for attacking you and talking shit. They're just doing what they were trained to do. I don't think it's right that they choose sides to pick Anthony and Jimmy over anything, because, like I said, they're not any better. Jimmy's phoning it in, as far as I'm concerned. Sam is just getting to be atrocious. Like, you can just sense his sense of, like, slimeballness. You really can. And Anthony is just looking like the money's running out, and like his soul is getting sucked out because the money's running out. It's like the only thing that's keeping him alive, and he needs someone to pull him out, because I don't think he's gonna be rich anymore. And that's the other thing. Opie's still pretty rich. He's not out there spending like an idiot, so he seems like a responsible guy. I don't know. I think I just relate to him because, like I said, a lot of the situations with the show, like, happened with me. Like, I really didn't like this guy, and him and I worked together again. And it wasn't the same dynamic, but we were able to get past it. And I think telling someone's girl that they're cheating on them just so you could get into a relationship with them, I think that's pretty fucked up and beyond the line. So I just wonder if it's like that, to where they couldn't get back together. And I wouldn't want them to get back together if they ever talked again anyway. Like I said, I'd like to see them work together once in a while, but not do a show. I'd also like if Opie would look back at the years that he did this show with fondness, because you still have fans 6-7 years later clamoring for a reunion that's never going to happen, but there's still a loyal fan base there. So the people still love and respect you. I mean, I don't know why they have to attack you. I think they just think it's fun. But don't take that personally, because I made a joke at Rich Voss once and he blocked me, and it wasn't even anything bad. I was like, you look like a cholo. And he blocked me. Big bad Rich Voss. So I don't think you need to be sensitive like that. I think you need to look back and realize that you guys, all three of you, because the show really wasn't the show until Jimmy came on. I'm not going to act like it wasn't. But you three created something very special that'll never be replicated. So just take that away from whatever babbling you've heard me say. Take away with the fact you guys created something that shaped the sense of humor of millions of people worldwide still today, especially with the clips on YouTube. You, whether you know it or not, taught people how to actually re-examine things and look past the surface of what they're just showing you and look past things with Jocktober. That's a lot more intricate than you would think it is. That's not just a gag, hey, let's make fun of these people. That actually breaks down a lot of shit. Like, it teaches you how to read between the lines. So that's awesome. You brought that to the table. And it's like, there's a lot of things that you've guys inspired, and including myself. I actually have a lot of questions I would like to ask, like, how do you properly mine a topic? I don't know. I'm learning as I go. I just ramble and ramble. So it is what it is. I just talk about the stuff that makes us us, the stuff that we like, that intertwines with our life, that makes us who we are, the stuff we mark out about. And that's one thing I mark out about was the Opie and Anthony show. And it's sad that it's gone, but it's awesome that it was here. And we just want closure, I guess, the fans. They never got a proper closure. And that's why I think people are still obsessing over it. So, if there's never going to be a reunion, do like a tell-all documentary or something. Have give all your information to Porcelain or something and have him do a tell-all documentary on your side or something, because there's a lot of stuff that I would love to know or learn. Like, Jim exposed the fact that the Toyota caller was like a guy in marketing or something. Were all your calls like that, or did you sprinkle some in there from time to time? What was fake besides the quote-unquote friendship on that show? What was fake behind the scenes that the people really don't know? Why'd you never fire Sam? Do you regret cultivating such a toxic fan base? Like, all sorts of stuff. Are you proud of what you did with the show? The memories that you've created? There's like a ton of stuff that the fans would love to know, that they just want you to talk about, because in hindsight, I mean, it was all a fucking lie, but the show represented honesty. So that's, I think, what the people want from all sides. They don't want to see everybody bashing each other. They want to see everybody bashing the same thing. You guys should all do videos on the same topic and then have somebody do a super cut, and then we'll get our reunion. Would you be willing to do that? Also, was the saying that you were going to split the show up a cop-out because you just didn't want to deal with the situation of the topic? Because you think that would have honestly worked? Just a bunch of stuff is on the minds of the people. And I know, I'll just give away some takeaways, because I like to babble and babble, but it's just a show that I respect, and I'm not talented enough to do like a documentary style video like Porcelain. So my takeaways are, what was bad enough that happened to where they can't ever get back together? Because reunions are definitely possible. Do they make fun of them because they still respect Opie? I want to know who created Jocktober, because that goddamn bit is chef's kiss to that one. I want to know if Lady Di and Marion are really like that, if Bobo's really like that. Did you ever catch a lot of shit for how you treated intern Noah too? The Julia kid. And do you think you'll really ever truly escape the stink of the cake stomp? I don't know. That's just some things I was thinking about. I know it wasn't a wrestling related video today, but I don't know. Like I said, if it wasn't wrestling in my life, it was OPIE and Anthony. So those are just some questions I would like to know. I would love to interview any of them, because I am unbiased. I'm a fan of all three still. I would love to know if Ian Halperin's really that douchey in real life, or if once the mics go off, he's just cool. I'd like to know who your guys' unanimous least favorite guest was. I'd love to know what the feeling in the room was when Jesse Ventura almost put Jimmy through a wall. There's just so much I would love to know, and I would love to interview them. I would love to know if anyone still has the Real Rock TV videos, that there would be a full-length compilation coming out with your commentary from the show. I would love to know if you ever plan on doing a reaction video to some old clips, or a commentary to some old episodes, doing like what was behind the scenes going on that day. I'd like to know what happened between you and Jimmy, to how you guys fell out. And what was up with the Sean Rouse thing? Was Jimmy just being a cunt? What was the deal with the Howard Stern thing? How did that beef really start? Was he jealous because you guys were better, and he was afraid you guys would become bigger? What was up with the whole Fez thing? Was he really like that? Did he really freak out when you guys would talk about him on the radio? And if so, what happened when you Jocktobered him? Even though you don't like the other guys, are you at least proud of their success without you? Are you proud of what Jim and Sam have done, even though you might not be on the best terms of them? I mean, there's just so much and so much more that the fans would love to know, but they've never gotten a straight, full answer. And again, I'm not one of those obsessive people that feels if I'm owed something, but as a life, I would say lifelong, because I've been aware of them more than half my life. No, about half. I wouldn't say more than half. About half my life. So as like a lifelong fan, I'd like to know, do you guys feel Steve C did what he did because of at least impartial to what he would endure on air? Do you think that added to his stress? And if so, do you feel at least a small guilt still for it? Yes. Linger longer. Do any of you guys still feel guilty or feel guilty at all about the Merrill Howard cooking show? There's just so much I would love to know as a fan. And I think the rest of the world or the fan base would love to know too. So I'm calling you out. I would like to interview you, Opie, Anthony, or Jim, to get some of these answers and maybe get your take on the situation. Even if it doesn't come out on the internet, I would like to know with an unbiased